Thanks for joining us on BBC News. A huge fire has ripped through one of the Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar in southeast Bangladesh. The charity ActionAid said their initial assessment was that more than 2,000 shelters had been gutted, leaving around 12,000 people homeless. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees who escaped violence in neighbouring Myanmar have been living in crammed camps near the border in Bangladesh. Earlier, I spoke to the country director of ActionAid Bangladesh about what happened.
It's a very densely populated camp. We host more than 1 million people in the Rohingya refugee camps. And so far, over 12,000 people have been affected. A lot of people have been temporarily evacuated. They came to the centers, like ActionAid has some community centers in Camp 11, and they are taking refuge there. And the water points, as already mentioned by a colleague, and the health, two of the health centers, primary health centers, were affected. Tomorrow morning we will have a clearer picture. But it's dry season. This is also another reason why it's dry season, and the wind was blowing, so it quickly spread. I mean, in such a short time, in just 2 hours, it had damaged a huge area. And right now, ActionAid is working with with the volunteers. We're providing dry food and water, but the repercussions are going to be long-term, and we will all have to work very closely. 5 departments of the fire service work very hard to put the fire down, and we are all together in this situation.
And as you say, there are longer-term repercussions and consequences here. What is needed in order to be able to help recover from this? And are the resources needed all there?
The resources that we now need is to rebuild the infrastructures, and it takes a little time to do that. And as you know, the funding has been depleting. In fact, the World Food Programme had to cut down $2 from their existing package, which has also had repercussions on the Rohingya refugees, particularly women and girls. So we don't, to answer your question, no, we don't have all the resources. We need quick mobilization, and we need also resources and materials which will help to prevent in the future such spread.
Farah Kabir speaking to me earlier. Well, our South Asia correspondent Anbarasan Ethirajan joins me now. Anbarasan, do we know how the fire started?
The officials have not given any details about how it started, but it is really fortunate that it did not spread to other parts of this Balukali camp. It's camp number 11. I've been there. And it's a very sprawling camp where tens of thousands of people live in cramped conditions. And these huts are made up of bamboo, and sometimes by polythene sheets they cover, or even tin roof. So, and they're packed. And there are tens of thousands of people are living. So when they cook food, or in the evening somehow the fire starts by accident. But officials say they managed to bring it under control. But thousands of people are now affected. They are now homeless, with women and children, as the aid worker was saying, that it is a very terrible condition because they'll be staying outside in cold. But the aid agencies say they are providing all the help, but also a reminder of the situation of Rohingya refugees, where nearly 1 million of them who escaped violence from neighboring Myanmar. And these camps are situated very close to the border in the Cox's Bazar district. And the conditions they live, and many people feel, the Rohingya community feel, that they have been forgotten by the world community.
And from what you're saying, Anbarasan, it doesn't sound like the conditions in the camp lend themselves to reducing the spread of fire once it starts.
Not only about, they're so close to each other, and there have been a number of incidents in the past few years. Some of them are allegedly arson attacks. There are infighting happening between various groups of Rohingya community, and people are getting killed because of these fire accidents. And the government wants to relocate some of these people to an island, Bhasan Char Island, so that they can reduce the density and give more space for the people, for the Rohingya. But many of them do not want to leave the relatives because this is on the mainland. They live as a community, and as more and more, the population also increases over a period of time. Your newborn children, and the families are like 6 or 7 in a family. They are living in a small hut. So the chances of fire is always there. But again, luckily this time they managed to prevent, unlike the previous incidents. But this issue of density, the crowded camps under squalid conditions, that need to be addressed, and that is what aid agencies have been talking about for a long time.